Good afternoon, my fellow people, and a warm welcome to this other series from the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth from John C Maxwell. Today, we're going to look at consistency. Last week, we looked at the law of reflection, which is basically your ability to pause, reflect on experience and things that you've gone through the day or during the week or during the month or during the year, to look at valuable insight that you gain from various experience. So one of the key takeaway that we got from that law is that every day learn to take 10, 20, or 30 minutes of your time to reflect on how you have gone through the day. What exactly have you done? Which activity have you done that have been aligned with your goal, and which activity have helped you to grow, and which insight have you got from the different experience? Because every day we meet people, we go through different experience. We have to be able to learn something from those experiences, because those experiences are what we said life makers. So it's quite important that we take time to reflect. And when we reflect, we need to ask ourselves tough questions, questions that will allow us to go deeper on the inside so we can look at shortcoming and things that we have done that may be good or bad, and things that we can change so we can improve and become better and tap into our potential and try to achieve our goal. So today's sessions is mostly on the consistency. Consistency is such an amazing word, but most people don't like it. But one of the key elements for success, for growth, is to be able to be consistent. Look at athletes. Let's look at Lionel Messi. For Lionel Messi to be the great athlete that he is because he is consistent. He trained in a consistent way. And that's why he has managed to get the result that he got in terms of his career. Anyone in any area become a success or achieve anything by being consistent. So consistency is the key word. And consistency and discipline goes hand in hand. So let's deep dive into consistency. So John Maxwell on the first page of this chapter says, motivation gets you going. Discipline keep you growing. So the hallmark of excellence, the test of greatness, is consistency. Everyone wants to be encouraged. Everyone enjoys being inspired. But here's the truth. When it comes to personal growth, motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. So the law of consistency is such an important one. Because when you are consistent with the small things, those small things that you are consistent will compound and get to something big. It's just like every day you take a small stone and drop it in a box. After a month, if you drop the same stone every day, the box will be full of stone. So that shows you how consistent action always leads to greater result. So how to grow in consistency? Do you know what you need to improve? Because that is an important question. If you want to grow, you have to know what you need to improve. Your future is dependent upon your personal growth. Improving yourself daily guarantee you a future filled with possibility. When you expand yourself, you expand your horizon, your options, your opportunity, your potential. So therefore, it's so critical for you, like we spoke about the law of reflection. You can see that these laws talk to each other. Once you reflect, you take the time to pause and meditate. It allows you to get insight on area where you need to grow. But once you have gained the insight, now you have to start acting. And you need to start acting now. And you need to create a daily routine that will help you to improve in that area where you want to grow. The successful person has the habit of doing the things that failure don't like to do. The successful person doesn't like doing them either, but his dislike is subordinate to the strength of his purpose. So that means successful people also do not like to be consistent, but because they have a higher purpose, they want to achieve their goal, they understand that that is part of the process. For them to achieve that bigger goal that they've set, they have to be consistent. You want to lose weight? You're not going to lose weight overnight. You have to keep exercising every day. You have to eat the gym every day. So that's consistency. The more tuned in you are to your purpose, and the more dedicated you are to growing toward it, the better your chances of reaching your potential, expanding your possibility, and doing something significant. The next question, do you know how you are supposed to improve? So the question of how to improve is one of the main reasons many people stumble. Because most of the time, people want to understand, how am I going to do this? Then John Maxwell gives us some few tips on how you can improve. The first thing, he says, match your motivation to your personality type. Well, we have different personality type. And then he listed some different kind of personality type. But the reality is there are many tools that allow you to check the type of personality that you are. Then when I look at the type of personality that he listed in his book, the first type is phlegmatic. So the phlegmatic are the people who are easygoing and likable. Their weakness is inertia, so they don't take action. Now, once you know that you are phlegmatic, you need to understand what will trigger you to take action and to start improving and being consistent in the area that you need to improve. And he says, as a tip, when phlegmatics see the value in doing something, they can be one of the most tenacious of all personality type. So the phlegmatic need to find exactly the value in doing something. Then they become tenacious. Now, the next type of personality is the choleric. So the choleric, the strength of people with this personality type is that they take charge easily and make decisions quickly. Their weakness is that if they are not in charge, they refuse to participate. So if you are choleric, how can you tap into internal motivation? You need to focus on the choice you can make. Every person is in charge of his own growth. Choose how you will grow and stick with it. Then the next type of personality is the sanguine. They are often the life of every party. Those are people who like to party. Their weakness is often lack of focus. So if you are sanguine, how can you motivate yourself to grow? By making a game of it. If that seems impossible, then give yourself reward for incremental success. So meaning, because you like partying, this type of people, the sanguine, need to make this exercise of growing as something pretty much like a game. And they give themselves a reward once they achieve the goal and the objective. And the last personality type is melancholic. These are life perfectionists. These are people who always strive for perfection. Attention to detail is their strength, but because they desire to do everything perfectly, they are afraid of making mistake. So if you are melancholic, how do you motivate yourself beyond that fear? By focusing on the joy of learning details and the potential for developing a level of mastery over your subject matter. Now, where do you start? Start with the simple stuff. Learn to take action. You want to become a marathon runner. You've never run before, but you need to start somewhere. Start by running 1K or 500 meter. And then over the time, you start improving, you start increasing the distance. But you have to start. If you don't start, you will never be a marathon runner. Then he says, the secret to building motivational momentum is to start small with the simple stuff. If you want to gain momentum and improve your motivation, begin by setting goals that are worthwhile but highly achievable. Master the basics, then practice them every day without fail. Small discipline repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievement. Gain slowly over time. This is an especially good idea to implement when reading a book. That's definitely true. I mean, if you really want to start enjoying reading, giving yourself a target that you're going to read a book once may not work. But if you start reading one page every day, and gradually you start gaining attraction and you start being interested in reading more, then you will increase your pace. If you read one page for a week, then probably next week you will say, well, let me just read 3 or 4 pages. And then the next thing is, let me make sure that every day I read a chapter. So it all starts with a momentum. You have to understand that you have to start by small step and increase over the time. Then he says, where many people go wrong in trying to reach their goals is in constantly looking for the big hit, the home run, the magic answer that suddenly transforms the dream into reality. The problem is that the big hit never comes without a great deal of little hit first. Success in most things comes not from some gigantic stroke of fate, but from simple incremental progress. And that's true. Whoever today is sitting on billions in terms of money, whoever become a great athlete, they started by doing one thing after another one, and over the time improving and incrementally growing to the next level. You have to understand that just like a baby boy or a baby girl start by crawling, there is a process. So you need to go through a process. And the next thing that he says is be patient. Be patient. It may take a while before you reach your destination. Be patient. Most people are impatient by nature. We have to reprogram our mind and understand that this process is much needed for me. I need to go through this process to become and to reach the potential. And let me tell you, when you go through a process, what is most important is the person that you're becoming. Who are you becoming going through the process is the most rewarding part. So stop being impatient. Be patient. Be gentle to yourself. Because once you become impatient, you become stressed, you become anxious, and that is not what you want. Whatever you have set as a goal, you have to be patient. But patience doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. You're doing something, but you also understand that there is a process, and you have to learn to value the process. Have patience. All things are difficult before they become easy. That is a wise advice. Most people never realize how close they are to achieving significant things because they give up too soon. Everything worthwhile in life takes dedication and time. The people who grow and achieve the most are the ones who harness the power of patience and persistence. It's such a great, these are great skills that one need to have. Persistence and patience, it's very important. And then the next one, as I've alluded to, value the process. One of the best things you can do for yourself as a learner is to cultivate the ability to value and enjoy the process of growth. It is going to take a long time, as you might as well enjoy the journey. Because what is important is the person that you are becoming. Who are you becoming? Because remember, anything that you're going to do to grow on a consistent basis will definitely transform the person that you are. And years later, you will look back and you will say, wow, I'm no longer the same person. So value the process. He says life goals are reached by setting annual goals. Annual goals are reached by reaching daily goals. Daily goals are reached by doing things which may be uncomfortable at first, but eventually become habits. And habits are powerful things. Habits turn action into attitude and attitude into lifestyle. We have to pay attention here. Habits are the most critical thing for you to grow and achieve the life that you want. Where you are today is the result of the habits that you had. And those habits brought you where you are. So if you are not successful in your life, if you still have area where you struggle, you have to go back and look at the habits that you created. Don't start blaming the world. Don't blame people. Don't blame your family. Don't blame any circumstances. The reason why you are where you are is because of the habits that you have created. And those habits are deeply ingrained into your subconscious mind. So you have to go and reprogram the subconscious mind. Unfortunately, today I don't have time to go through this lesson, how you can reprogram your subconscious mind. But for those who are interested, I am more than happy to help you reprogram and think differently when it comes to creating new habits. He says you can visualize tomorrow using it as a motivation to grow. But if you want to actually grow, your focus needs to be on today. If you value today and find a way to enjoy it, you will invest in today. And the small step you take today will lead to bigger step you take someday. Okay? Do you know why you want to keep improving? The why, it's so critical. Because without why, you will never achieve anything. You need to have a strong why behind you, which supports you when things get tougher. Because things will get tougher. There will be days where you feel like, I don't want to do it. But the why behind will definitely pull you and get you going. And I think there is an interesting book that Simon Sinek wrote, Find Your Why. And I think that book is a great book because there he actually listed that there's 5 why that you need to have for you to do something. Because usually when the why is not strong enough, that's where people give up. Always people give up when the why is not strong enough. So you need to find enough why that justify why you are doing the thing that you're doing. And then he says, having a strong why will help you to keep going when the discipline of learning becomes difficult, discouraging, or tedious. If your growth is connected to your value, dreams, and purpose, you will know why you are doing it, and you will be more likely to follow through. One of the ways to judge whether you have tapped into your why is to take what his friend Mike Murdoch called the why test. Your answer to the following 7 questions will let you know if your why is solid enough to motivate you to consistently grow. The first question is, do you constantly procrastinate on important tasks? The second one, do you require coaxing to do small chore? The third one, do you perform duty just to get by? The fourth one, do you constantly talk negatively about your work? The fifth one, do effort of friends to encourage you irritate you instead? Question 6, do you start small projects and abandon them? Question 7, do you avoid self-improvement opportunities? So if you answer yes to many of these questions, you haven't tapped into a strong enough or big enough why to keep you growing. Then he says, if you think about it, you can see that discipline and motivation are two sides of the same coin. If you have the motivation, you need discipline. Please let me repeat that. If you have the motivation, you need discipline. He said, if you have the motivation, you need discipline is not a problem. So if you have the motivation to get yourself disciplined, it's not going to be a problem. But if you lack motivation, discipline is always a problem. Then you have to give yourself more and bigger why so you can keep wanting to put in the effort to grow. So understand that your why is so critical for you to follow through and to be consistent. Then the next one, do you know when you are supposed to improve? Obviously, the answer should be now, because you cannot postpone what you can do today. Do it now. It's going to create the momentum. Then he quoted Professor Leo Buscaglia, who says, life lived for tomorrow will always be just a day away from being realized. So you need to get started if you haven't yet. More important, you need today to be every day. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. So start today. There is a power in doing something today because you create the momentum, and then your mind is now adjusted and willing to implement the change. And then he says, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And that bridge must be crossed every day. Because if you don't do it every day, you will lose momentum. Over time, that daily crossing becomes a habit. And ultimately, people do not decide their future. People, please listen to this. And ultimately, people do not decide their future. They decide the habit, and the habit decides their future. From the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to sleep at night, your habit largely controls the words you say, the things you do, and the way you react and respond. And this is what I was saying. So you are controlled and governed by your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is so powerful that it works on automatic mode. So you don't have to think, it's just kicking. So for you to change and reprogram, you have to go through auto-suggestion, which is one of the practice that most people use. Daily affirmation to reprogram your mind. But you need to firstly be aware of those habits that are not conducive to your growth and those habits that are not conducive to your success. Just like we say in the law of reflection, learn to pause and meditate, to look at experience, to go through the different challenges that you've gone through to see what needs to be improved. And you have to definitely be aware. Before a change happens, you need to get to a level of awareness. Awareness is the first step before you start changing yourself. Then he says, what are you doing daily that need to change? What needs doing? What need undoing? So there are things that you need to stop doing, and there are things that you need to start doing more. And then he says, in the end, hard work is really the accumulation of easy things you didn't do when you should have. That's why you see people sometimes, I'm overwhelmed. I have so much work. But why do you have so much work? Because you neglect to do daily your job. And now you end up with so much work, you overwhelm. Like he says, it's like diet and exercise. Everyone wants to be thin, but no one wants to make the right choice to get there. It's hard work when you have neither eaten right nor exercised day after day. Everybody that you see that is thin, well, unless you were born thin, but most often the people who have a beautiful body, they have six-pack, it's a result of hard work. They have to eat the gym every day to get that body that you envy. The question is, are you willing to do the work? Then he says, maybe it's time to stop setting goals. Consistency is not easy. Yes, it's true. Nobody says that it's going to be easy. And he says consistency is contrary to nature, contrary to life, because we like easy things. But for you to be on the 1, 3, or 4% of the people who are wealthy, people who are living the life of the dream, you have to agree that you have to create consistency in your life. You need to create daily routine, daily habit. Those habits will take you to the goal and will make you the person that you always dream of. You have to really understand that. Like the South African people says, nothing from mahala, means there is nothing for free. You have to pay the price. Are you willing to pay the price? Then he says, to be successful, we must learn to become consistent. You must figure out what works for you. But I will be glad to tell you what had worked for me. So he says that we have to be goal conscious. As we have to be grow conscious as opposed to goal conscious. Goal conscious, we spoke about it in the first law, the law of intentionality. When you focus on your goal, once you reach the goal, you will plateau. You will not move forward. But if you focus on growth, you will keep growing, because growing always gives room to other opportunity. So the more you grow, the more you become equipped. So there will never be a time in your life where you can say, I have done it all. When people start saying, I've done it all, that's the downfall. Usually when people use words like that, they're going backward. If you want to keep growing, please understand that it's a journey. There is no finish line. So as long as you are growth conscious, then you will keep stretching yourself until you reach your full potential. Then consistency leads to someone who's productive. Because without being consistent, you will never be productive. So daily habits that you create, like waking up early in the morning at 5 a.m., going to the gym, reading, doing your daily your reflection where you assess and reflect on the day, clearly establishing the goals and the priority for the day will definitely set you apart. Because most people don't like discipline. Most people just want to go through the day the way they just, basically what happens is to people is, since they've not planned the day, they are now managed and controlled by circumstances. And that's why people get frustrated, because they get out of the day what they actually, they get out of the day the result of them being undisciplined. So being consistent and disciplined will always set you apart. You will become an extraordinary person. So these are tools that will equip you in your growth journey. So I just want to leave you with this quote from John William, where he says, "The law of consistency can work. Anyone who does what he must only when he is in the mood or when it is convenient is not going to be successful." So if you do things when it's convenient for you, when you feel that you are in the mood to do it, you will never be successful. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share about the law of consistency. I know it took us pretty much like 30 minutes, but it's such an important law to really understand. Now, in terms of the key takeaway, what I will encourage you to do as from today is to create new habits, routine that will help you achieve the goal that you have set yourself. And before you create those routines, you need to create a strong why. Need to understand why you're doing it. Because once you understand why you're doing it, even when it's tough, you will not give up. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much for setting the time aside to listen to it. I hope it's been useful to you. Like I've said, for those who would like to improve the result, for those who want to grow into becoming the person that they want to be, for those who want to become a better version of themselves, I will encourage you to reach out to me. As I said, I've got a website. My website is www.leadinfluencepty.com, or you can send me an email to ddmbayo@leadinfluencepty.com. I'll be more than happy to help you, as I am very passionate about seeing people becoming a better version of themselves and achieving the goal and living the life of their success. Thank you very much.